Deception is a right. Truth is a privilege. Innocence is a luxury. Born of the U.S. government's 1928 raid on the degenerate coastal town of Innsmouth, Massachusetts, the covert agency known as Delta Green opposes the forces of darkness with honor, but without glory. Delta Green agents slip through the system, manipulating the federal bureaucracy while pushing the darkness back for another day, but often at a shattering personal cost. Welcome to Watcher, a Delta Green campaign of modern horror, conspiracy, and personal apocalypse. I am Eric, at Maron Recluse Online, your handler for this Candlelit Chronicle. Due to mature themes of horror and violence explored in our tale, we encourage listener discretion. We're Vorpal Tales, and we play a wide assortment of games 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day. To know more about our many games, be sure to check out the calendar on vorpaltales.com to stay up to date on all of our shows. Follow us on Twitch, visit our website, and find a link to join our Discord. We're on most major social media outlets, including YouTube, where you can catch up on previous episodes. So remember to follow, subscribe, and hit the bell to get all the updates. Very special thanks to Cryo Chamber for the use of their excellent ambient music tracks. For more, check out their extensive discography on cryochamber.bandcamp.com. Other music attributions and shoutouts go to Dark Somnium Music, Epidemic Sound, Least Upperbound, and Repulsive Sound. For more on them, check out epidemicsound.com, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Secret Press. We want to thank Arc Dream Publishing for making awesome games like Delta Green for us to play and for providing support to their players. Don't forget to check out Arc Dream Publishing's suite of tabletop RPGs and supplements on arcdream.com, where you can get a physical or digital copy of awesome games like Delta Green. Thanks also goes out to Roll20 Tabletop for providing excellent providing a excellent virtual platform for us to run many of our games. And last but not least, a warm thanks goes out to our listeners and fans for tuning in. Our agents and friendlies are ready for another night at the opera. Players, tell our audience who you are, where they can find you online, and who you will be playing this evening. Beginning with Ambrose.
Hey everybody. You might have seen me earlier playing David de Zorovan in our Ravenloft Chronicle. And now, I will be Iliad, aka Diver. You can find me all over the internet as Am Changeling, and you can find me on Etsy at Thornkind.
All right, Aaron.
Hello, I'm Aaron. You can find me at Great Cthulhu pretty much everywhere. I use any pronouns except for he, him. Tonight I will be playing Dominique Staker, who uses she, her pronouns, who is a very not good person.
Agreed, yes. And Rachel.
Hello, my name is Rachel. You can find me Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere on the internet. And tonight I will be playing the not psychic, I almost said psychic, psychological profiler, Agent Delilah.
Excellent. Right. And now for a short recap, if you would be so kind to do the honors, Ambrose.
Gladly. We begin with Dominique. The job in Caracas was supposed to be easy, flying a plane to Bogota. They were paying a lot of money for the job and for not asking questions. After the plane fell out of the sky, she heard rumors aplenty over who had really been responsible. She still wants to get paid, and she will. In person, in soul. Too bad they were cannibals. She had to shoot her way out right as the sting operation went off. Dominique had never been so happy to be arrested. They were impressed she'd survived the assassination and offered her a clean criminal record and some degree of freedom in exchange for working for them. Agent Donovan deals with a lot. Missing persons, financial crime, foreign spies, serial killers. The list never ends, and it was all normal for him. But it changed when he was given his own investigation into corpses going missing from one of the city's oldest graveyards. A stakeout was in order, but somehow the thieves figured it out and didn't show. He did capture them on camera, however. They were humanoid, but not human. They lived on dead flesh, ghouls, Donovan lost his whole team trying to take them down. Donovan was sure he'd be next when the groundskeeper spoke in a strange, ancient language. Magic. Donovan was saved. Running at night, something feels familiar and primal. Memories of the glade surface, and she feels Mother's eyes upon her. She tries to call someone, but it only goes to voicemail. Stella, it's Shelley. You're right. We need to get everyone together, someplace public, like Central Park. She slowly looks up and tries to use her phone's light to pierce the darkness. A nightmare perches on a branch above her, horned and with leathery wings. Fort Lee, 2:15 a.m. A black and white film plays for a drive-in audience. The entertainment is cut short when something lands on a parked car. A black cloud emerges from the corpse of Stella Morehouse. Back to Donovan and the flip phone he's tripped over. He immediately calls Lazarus over and prepares a pot of coffee for the others. As he moves through the kitchen, he catches glimpses of himself in the reflections of the appliances. For a moment, he sees someone moving in tandem with him. Looking back, he sees someone else in the blurry reflection. A woman he's never seen before. She looks like she's trying to say something. The image blurs and it's Donovan again. He decides to go for a run. Delilah is the next one to wake up and pads out into the common area, a little surprised to see Lazarus there. She hadn't pegged him for a morning person. He shows the grimy, scuffed phone to her and then shows her where the security cameras fizzled out a bit, and the phone was just there. His own phone rings. There's been a break in the case. Dominique is the next person up. She examines the phone, including the strange sigils drawn on. Diver wanders down and Lazarus returns. He says that FEMA has found where she was staying and her personal affects. We can talk about that when we're all back together, however. At some point, Donovan returns with a bag full of bodega breakfast sandwiches. Lazarus explains more about what FEMA found, and then the big kicker. They found another one of the Garrison 6 across the George Washington Bridge in Jersey. Stella Morehouse. She seems to have died by falling onto a car. Delilah asks what she fell off of. He doesn't have an answer. We swing by a junkyard to pick up a green box on wheels. After that, we head over to the tenement building where FEMA found Dahlia's personal affects. It's more upscale than what we were expecting. A woman who's been off the grid to be able to afford. The superintendent explains that Dahlia paid her rent in cash and didn't have visitors. She just wanted to be left alone. And despite being late New York summer, she always wore scarves. Delilah introduces herself to Agent Haskell and asks for his initial impressions. There's no traces of any hazmat or strange chemicals, and he shows us her prepaid cell phone. The only call history is with someone in her contacts as S.A., perhaps Shelley Austin. There's another text message conversation about needing to meet with the others. They suggest the chapel or perhaps Central Park as a meeting point. These messages were sent the night she died. Dominique just decides to go for it and tries calling S.A. No response. It goes straight to voicemail. Meanwhile, Donovan pores over some notes, apparently written in 19th century English. There's also some rolls of bills wrapped up in rubber bands. Haskell points out some really bad fiction dated September 19th, 1806. It speaks of something called the Watcher and some women who seem to summon her. As we discuss the clues, Donovan talks about his experience this morning. Delilah says to let her know if it happens again. Donovan intensely studies the room, but there's not much to see beyond a few gawking neighbors. Delilah snaps a few photos of the writing. Meanwhile, Dominique questions some of Dahlia's old neighbors. One of them reveals Dahlia seemed to have a stalker, someone who kept standing outside and trying to get in. As all this happens, Diver investigates our green box on wheels. He catches someone scrawling the symbol of the Watcher onto our car. He gives chase into an alleyway and watches as they scale the fence and slither away. At least he has a jacket on. He calls Dominique and reports the incident, then takes a photo of the symbol before trying to wipe it off. As he looks at it, it feels almost like he's developing a migraine. Going through the car, he finds various ammunition. In the jacket, he finds drugs and money. Dominique questions the superintendent, Sandra, about Dahlia's supposed stalker. She denies knowing anything about the stalker, but Dominique is a good enough liar that she can spot a bad one. She confesses that she sometimes lets strangers into the building, if they paid her in cash. But they only came twice. She describes someone wearing a dark hoodie who only visited at night. One of these nights was the same night Dahlia ended up in the hospital. Donovan spends his time tracking the Popper family to Arkham, Massachusetts. He suggests taking a trip there. Delilah is worried about the prospect of more girls dying, but agrees Donovan should try and trace Stella's phone. It's time to head back to Gotham Point, and from there helicopter to Jersey. After avoiding a strange accident, we arrive and Dahlia hands the phone over to Lazarus while she uses some forensics to analyze the journal entry. This wasn't created by Dahlia, it was actually created in the 19th century. While she works in the lab, Diver gives the helicopter a solid pre-flight check. He feels like he's being watched the entire time. There's no one there. With the other two agents occupied, Dominique asks Donovan about the Garrison Six. As they discuss, one of Dominique's lackeys, Kronos, calls. He has a full background workup on Harriet Varney. She's a runaway herself, escaped some kind of hippie cult. Something called the Daughters of Isolation. She asks for Harriet to be brought in, warm preferably. Donovan, lightly eavesdropping, insists that we do this above board. It's time to fly to Fort Lee in the drive-thru. There's agents crawling over the scene and a row of 24 body bags along one side. Opening some up, they look just like the people at the hospital. And like the victims in the hospital, they all suffocated. Except Stella Morehouse. Examining her body, she had just as bad abscesses as Dahlia. Delilah wonders if the event was the result of either dying or skin breaking. Diver recognizes that she had to have fallen from over 100 feet up. Was she pushed from a helicopter? He and Donovan notice something interesting about the body. She's wearing hiking boots and something is stuck to them. Dried leaves, matching the local trees. She also seems to have some pre-mortem splinters, indicating that she was running through the woods right before she died. And of course, Harriet is there. Dominique heads out to speak with her. She challenges Harriet on her history with the Daughters of Isolation. Harriet leads Dominique into the woods to speak privately. Donovan follows. Meanwhile, Delilah finds another antique document, the same as the one she's just analyzed. It's something about a lawsuit. Back in the woods, Harriet is convinced the government doesn't care about what's going on and challenges Dominique on her own affiliation with the feds. She demands to see the body, and Dominique turns that into power play. Thanks to Diver, we get temporary custody of Stella's body. Looking at the body, Harriet says it looks like she's been embraced. Perhaps they've all been embraced. We head to a nearby safe house. But something seems strange on the horizon. Everything gets dark. The sun begins dropping faster than it should be. Night turns into day. Then we hear something hit the copter's tail, and it swings to the right. Something is on the chassis, something scratching to get in. Through the mirrors, we see the thing with horns and leathery wings, watching us.
Thank you for reading the recap, Ambrose, and thanks as always to Rachel for the excellent note-taking. Now we shall continue with our Candlelit Chronicle Watcher. She makes her way down the darkened alleyway, checking for tails after exiting her rideshare. Standing in the cramped confines between a deli and a dry cleaner's for what feels like too long, she begins to fidget with nervousness. Dahlia and Stella's deaths are still fresh in her mind. Something stirs in the gloom beyond the reach of the alley's dismal lighting. She turns towards the rustling, hoping to see a familiar face, perhaps of her siblings in isolation. What emerges instead is a silent figure in a dark hooded jacket. "There you are," she says. "Where's everyone else?" No reply. She looks around again, but doesn't see anyone else. It's just them. Her eyes immediately settle on the gun being held by the darkened figure. What are you? Put that away," she says before the realization hits her. Her friend is not really her friend anymore. "You work for her, don't you? You were never on our side because you never left Lydia's." There's a moment of hesitation with the gunsel. Then comes the apology. "I'm sorry. This is the only way." The gun jumps 3 times in the figure's hand, dropping Daniela Lovey to the ground. Her killer turns away quickly and melts back into the shadows. The dim lighting in the alleyway becomes dimmer still as the black cloud descends and envelops Lovey in its ebony embrace, inevitably sending her soul to the Watcher in the glade. All right. And now we'll pick up where we left off previously. So, you all were hitching a little ride with Agent Donovan to this FBI safe house with Harriet Varney in tow. And these things began to descend upon your helo. Agent Diver, you hear these things scratching and pulling at things on the bottom chassis of the helicopter. Things are being pulled, things are being damaged. As you progress further into the night, into this now night flight, Harriet realizes what's going on and her eyes look out. She looks out the window and her eyes grow in size when she realizes what it is that has latched onto your ride. things are starting to get a little bit dicey as suddenly your instruments are starting to spin and lights are starting to flash on your consoles. You're starting to lose fuel and altitude quickly. I need you to make a piloting check, please.
Oh, snap. Okay. So, fun fact while I'm opening my sheet, I learned the other day that good helicopter pilots can keep a helicopter from just crashing down. You angle it right, and the just the physics of it causes the rotors to spin properly, and you can kind of cushion your fall. Did not know that. I thought it fell like a rock.
While Agent Diver's struggling with the controls, what are the rest of you doing? Success.
Holding on to whatever for dear life and trying not to freak out too unprofessionally.
You all hear the scratching and the rending of metal outside of the aircraft. And you see Harriet freak out at the window as she kind of peers over out of the side. Do the rest of you look and see what she's looking at, or how do you respond exactly?
I'll look.
I'll look.
Okay. You saw what I showed you last week. This, head to toe, glistening black looking. The color pitch, just it looks like a demon, like a faceless demon. There's no other way to really describe it. It's just like something straight out of a nightmare. And long, spindly fingers and leathery wings, and they seem to be trying to get into the aircraft's cabin. You see one of them in particular is like hands are just scratching and like bashing into the side of the door that kind of slides open on the side of the helo. And you see the glass start to fracture little by little with every impact.
Everyone brace for impact. This is going to be a rough landing.
Understood.
Oh no.
Are there any openings, like windows or something in the helo?
Oh, absolutely. Let me show you what this thing kind of looks like, because it is pretty commonly used helicopter. This is kind of what it looks like on the side here.
Also, I got normal success. If it's a hard or impossible, I have failed.
No, there's going to be some more checks here in a second, but you managed to maintain it from just dropping suddenly and just nose diving. So you managed to keep it steady, and you're angling the rotors in such a way to kind of keep you aloft. But the thing is literally going from side to side like this, and you see more of these things are just accumulating towards the bottom and on the tail end of the rotor, just making their way quickly onto the cockpit and to the cabin where the rest of you are situated.
I have a service weapon, right?
Oh, of course you do.
I shoot.
Yeah, same. Literally same idea. Yeah, through the window. You
both look and you're like, oh my god. Both of you make sanity checks, please.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Please be kind to me, roll 20. Please be kind. It was not kind. It was not kind.
Alan, if you're watching, you're seeing the fruition of your summoning of the Elder Gods. Oh my god.
Wow.
One sanity loss for you, Rachel. Congrats. Aaron, roll a d6. You lose that many.
Like my leg. Of course I rolled a 5. Of course I did.
Oh, fuck. Well, you know what that means. Temporary insanity. Okay. This is perfect time to touch on this little gem. Let's see here. Sanity. Okay. So if you lose 5 or more on a sanity incident, you temporarily go insane. There's a complete breakdown where it's basically fight, flight, or submit. Now, you can reduce the amount of sanity points that you lose if you spend 1d4 willpower points. Would you like to spend some willpower points?
Hold on.
Otherwise, you have only three choices to make in this moment.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna gamble and take the willpower loss.
Okay. As a roll a d4, reduce that from your current willpower points, and the result will reduce the amount that you take for the sanity hit.
So I both want to roll high and low simultaneously. Great. That is a 3. So
3. Okay, so you only lose 2 sanity from this, but you're just kind of like, you're not okay, but you're like handling it as best as you can. How would you like to proceed with your action as Agent Delilah is bringing out her pistol to shoot at one of these things?
I assume we're not on the same side of the helicopter, so I will be shooting out the other window at whatever these things are.
Very good. Okay, excellent. Okay. What are your dexterities?
Mine is 40. Oh, that's a times 5.
50.
Okay, so Agent Dana goes first, followed by Delilah. Diver, what's your dexterity score?
Ooh, let's see. Dex score. Do I do the one that says score or the one that says times 5?
They're doing the times 5, so we'll just do the times 5.
75.
75. Oh, shit.
Holy Lord.
All right, so in order of initiative, it's actually Agent Diver goes first. You have to make your second piloting check as these things are like clambering up to the top and you're all kind of like surprised by what's going on. Go ahead and make me another piloting check. Look at that. Wow. Impossible moves Ambrose is pulling out here. So I'm actually going to make that count as 2 successes because you made an impossible roll. So yeah, you see these things are like clambering up and from underneath the chassis and onto the front windshield, as it were, of the helo, and they're trying to basically bash the shit in, and they're completely throwing you off. Like the instruments are not telling you which way is up anymore, and you're basically having to fly on instinct. Sweat is just kind of like pouring down the side of your face as you're trying to concentrate and try to get a look through a mirror or something that can sort of orient you where the craft is at. And just by instinct, you manage to angle the rotors in such a way to keep you from flying into the side of a tree, because that's how low to the ground you suddenly are. You're just above the forest floor at the toppest peaks of the canopy. Give me a sanity check now that you're getting your peepers on these winged things.
Rude.
Next goes Agent Delilah. Fire away.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Oh no.
You're just 3 points over. Oh no. Oof.
Yeah,
All right. So you roll a d6, Ambrose, for your sanity loss. You failed your firearms roll. This was not, although this wasn't hard or anything, a hard shot, meaning they're right there. You would typically get like a 20% increase to fire on them. You still failed with an 87. So you go to fire at one of these things and it just moves unnaturally fast. It just kind of like moves out of the way. You shoot out the glass. You just air getting sucked in and out of that cabin. You're just like the wind's whipping in your hair around as like your shot goes a little bit wide and goes through the window. Okay, Agent Delilah, bang, bang, bang.
Or do you mean Dominique?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm good.
Dominique.
Right. Let's do this. Oh, fuck yes. Fuck yes.
Bullseye. Roll damage.
What is a service firearm damage?
Probably a standard would probably be a D10.
Is that?
Oh, look at that. Wow. Okay.
Ah.
Holy shit! That's
Chef's
a beautiful
kiss.
roll.
So good.
Yeah. So you just like one shot kill this thing right through its weird looking skull, just like, and the thing just like turns and floats off and just kind of drifts off. And you swear you're seeing it as the other ones are clambering up after it, and it almost seems to like turn into like those black snowflakes and dissipate into thin air. Okay. Agent Donovan's gonna take a turn. You see, he sees what's going on. He's maintaining his control, his composure, and he's just kind of like. He goes and he pulls out his service weapon and runs to the cockpit as the other ones are starting to clamber up and essentially creating a a barrier for Agent Diver to be able to orient the aircraft successfully. He will lose 4 sanity. Okay. And he proceeds to put a couple of shots into one of them as well. Let's see what he rolls. Da-da-da-da. Firearms. He's pretty good. Oh no, he missed it. Well, I'm gonna give that to him because he's gonna get a 20% increase as well, so it's almost impossible for him to miss a shot. He's got an 80% value for his scores, so he just proceeds to put a shot into one of these things. Let's see what damage he rolls. Damage at D10. 6. All right, so he plugs one of them and just gets it like in one of the wings, but it does not manage to knock it off of the aircraft. It just manages to like blow chunks of like what seems to be like blood at first, this blackish blood, which quickly turns into like these dissipating black cloud-like substance and just dissipates into thin air. These things don't make a sound, which is somewhat more disconcerting than you were expecting. All right, back up to Agent Diver. Last piloting roll of the evening. Are you going to try to put it down because your fuel line has been cut? There's all sorts of damage and things going on with the aircraft right now. You can try to put her down gently, but it's going to be somewhat of a difficult roll.
And do my best.
Go for it.
Also, on that D6, I rolled a 3.
D6, you rolled a 3, so you lost 3 sanity total.
Woohoo!
And you can always expend willpower points. Whenever you do so, though, you have to roll a d4, and you lose that many willpower points to reduce the sanity damage if you take. Okay. You're like, I like this. I like the craziness.
Pilot time.
All right. Show me that piloting roll. Look at that. Okay, so you got a 67 out of 80. That's pretty good. You describe how you managed to somewhat land this thing without completely destroying it in the process. It's not going to be serviceable after the landing, given the circumstances, but it's not going to kill you at least.
He brings it down as gently as he possibly can, kind of between trees, hoping to maybe knock this thing off of the helicopter in the process.
Yeah, you see, it kind of got like something happens, and you try to like bring it down hard, and you actually squash some of these night terror things as soon as it kind of hits and bounces and kind of slides a little bit, and you like you angle the rotor just right, and you actually manage to catch one of these things, and it kind of gets caught up in it, and just you see bits and pieces of its wings and its tail just go flying everywhere as it gets completely diced open by the rotor. And then eventually, like, you just kind of like, you kind of maintain it as best as you can. You go sliding. The sides of the helicopter are just like getting battered by these trees and their branches as they're just kind of swatting you as it's sort of sliding sideways now. There's this wrenching metal creaking sound as it sort of lurches forward and hits the tree. Agent Donovan goes splat right up against the windshield and like nurses what seems to be like a bloody forehead. You yourself lose 1 hit point from the impact. The rest of you, I'm assuming you're still in your seats with the harnesses on, or did you actually just get out and like start firing?
I mean, yeah, I feel that's probably why Delilah missed, is that she stayed buckled in.
Okay, fair enough. You couldn't get a good enough angle. Well, now it's time to get the hell out of there if you can. You see, it's these things' turn now. Harriet is just screaming like, "We gotta get out of here! We gotta get out of here!" One of them breaches the side door. Glass goes flying in everywhere. Shower of glass. These arms reach in and grab a hold of her, or at least try. And I rolled 39, just under the 40. So you see Harriet gets yanked out of her seat as these things try to take her up into the sky, just like they did Stella Morehouse. The others are starting to climb in from the other side and trying to break in through the cockpit. Agent Diver, you're seeing this thing just like crush, cumulatively crack spiderweb and destroy the glass facade that separates you from these nightmares. Beginning at the top of the round with let's see, you just put down the helicopter. Now it would be Agent Delilah's turn to react.
I am firing at the one trying to grab at Harriet.
Excellent. Give me a roll. Blast away. Nice. That's a shot. That's a good shot. You're still in the harness, but you just you open fire on this thing. Go ahead and roll damage. D10.
Okay. 6.
It's a 6. Okay. The one Harriet's on. This is 6. Okay. It takes a steady like barrage of gunfire into its back, but it is not dead yet. Agent Dominique. Agent Dominique.
So when it pulled Harriet out of her seat, did it rip the belts perchance? Can I use those to like tie her to me? Like if they want to take her, I'm going with.
Oh yeah, that's an excellent idea actually. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
That would probably be like a athletics check because you're trying to move it faster than the thing is trying to fly off with her.
Not my greatest stats. Oh, here we go.
Okay, so you try to like grab a hold of her. You manage to wrap the strands around her so that if they take her, they take you as well. But as soon as you do, like two of them like converge and they start like clawing and pulling her away. She screams and she's thrashing back at them. She's gonna try to hit one in the face. Gonna try to hit the injured one and rolls triple zeros. Oh boy.
Oh no.
So she tries to wrestle with this thing, and instead of like being right set up, she's now upside down, like her legs being like held by these spindly fingers as these things are like carrying her off into the night sky. And she just slips right out of the straps that you attached to her. Okay. And back at the top. Oh, now it's their turn to attack you. Cool. One of them tries to grab you in response, Dominique.
Uh-oh.
You have an option here. You just spent your turn, and they go last. So you can try to dodge as it tries to attack you. Or you can try to fight back. If you fight back, however, the next turn is effectively used up by your fighting back. It basically represents like, oh, you're trying to hit me. I'm going to try to block that hit. Or I'm going to try to use my attack skill instead of a dodge or something like that to block any harm.
I think in that case, I will just use dodge then.
Use dodge? All right, sure. Go for it. This will consume your next round, but you're safe from any attackers this round. Holy shit. A 5 in a clutch move. All right, so these things are clawing at you, and like their fingers are getting in your hair and like brushing up against your skin, and like everywhere it touches, you feel numb. Like your skin feels like you just got like a shot of anesthetic or something. You're just like, get away. You're trying to slip out from underneath them. One of them grabs for you, Agent Diver, and manages to succeed with a 27. Now, because it's the beginning of the round, you can opt to dodge or fight back, however you choose, but it will consume your turn, just like Agent Dominique here. Or you could take the hit, whatever it's planning on doing to you, and fight back normally on your turn.
You know what these things do. I'm gonna let's see. What would fight back be?
It's whatever your skill is for fighting. So in this case, it's unarmed combat. It would be that, or if you have like a specific like martial art ability, or it could be you could use dodge alternately, just move out of the way of its grasp.
I'm gonna do unarmed combat.
Oh, okay, go for it. You have to roll under your skill and beat a 27 at the same time, and there you go. Wow. Okay. So these things are trying to grab at you, and you're just like, off with you, bang, bang. You're just punching them back and like, boxing them out of your way as best as you can. They're not in. Admittedly, they're not in an opportune position to try to grab you. Like they're literally trying to reach through broken glass to grab you and pull you out, and you're just like, nope, I'm getting out of your harness. I'm gonna have Donovan go at around the same time. One of them tries to grab him and flat out fails, just barely. So he has no reason to fight back. He's gonna plug another shot into that one that he shot previously. He hits with a 36, and let's see what he rolls for damage. Let's see if I roll better. That's full 10. Okay, so that one hits for, what did we do before, 6 and 10, so 16 total damage to that one. It's still not dead, but it's very badly hurt. You see part of its head is just gone. It's just one of its horns is just blown off of its head. And somehow it still kind of like congeals and maintains its, or reconstitutes its shape. Not that it's healed or anything like that, but it just sort of like, its head partially dissipates and still remains. Okay. So, Agent Delilah, it is your turn.
All right. The monster holding Harriet, is that one still alive?
Yes, it is injured, but it is still alive.
All right. I'm gonna fire again.
Go for it. There you go.
Yes.
Nice. Roll that damage.
7.
7.
Nice.
Good. Much better. Okay, so that's... Ooh. That's pretty good. You shoot this one again, and in the back, and it blows out one of its wings, and you see it's a one-winged terror now, and it just sort of like starts gliding down. It maybe took her up like 15 feet, and they both go gliding back down. And she it kind of loosens her grip, its grip on her, and she tries to go into like a duck and roll. And she nails it with a 4. So Harriet hits the ground from 15 feet up and goes into a roll and just kind of splatters onto the ground a little bit like, ugh! She's holding her side. They're starting to come down and try to bring her back up. Some of them are still trying to get into the confines of the helo while you're still strapped into it. Do you want to use your move to get out of your seat or out of the helo, or do you maintain your position inside?
Oh, I'm bailing. I'm
Getting the hell out as soon as you can?
Yeah, and I'm heading towards Harriet.
Excellent. All right. Next up, Agent Dominique.
Yeah, so I want to turn everyone, Delilah's obviously bailing. Everyone needs to get the fuck out of this helicopter. I have a plan, but standing near this thing is going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
And I'm also gonna hop out and yeah.
Just move out of. Okay.
Yep.
Everyone who's leaving the aircraft, roll alertness, please. Let me know what you got.
28 of 67. Oh my God, Rachel, crit!
I rolled a 1.
Rachel, the gas line has been breached, and there's a small fire that is going to erupt in an explosion very soon. Roll a d6, please.
Oh no.
I got a 54 out of 80, by the way.
In 4 rounds, this helo will
shit.
explode and kill everyone on board. That's what you know. Proceed.
Delilah's just gonna yell, "Gas leak! Get the hell out!"
Oh, well, that was my plan. That was
You don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah, all of you who smell it are like, yep, it's gonna go. Let's get out. It's their turn now. And Harriet's. Harriet fights back again. Fails with a 90, however. These things are going to try to grab a hold. Agent Donovan. Misses Agent Donovan. Misses Agent Diver on your way out as you're trying to clamber out of the cockpit. One of them grabs a hold of you, Dominique, as you're moving out of the helo. One of them comes down and you feel its feet, you think, or maybe it's its tail, just wrap around your midsection. Start hoisting you back up. New round. So it is Agent Diver. You're up first.
Oh boy. want to get out of there, but I also need to help with that.
Agent Donovan's like, get out, go!
Break its tail! Break its tail!
Yeah, I do have firearms. They're pretty good, but also my unarmed combat's pretty good. How close am I to it?
You're right there. Like, it is, like, just feet away.
Unarmed combat it is then. Oh, God.
Oh, no! You try to punch it, and are you punching and running, or are you just punching and staying put?
Just staying put, trying to get its grip off of who it has.
Cool. 3 rounds before the helicopter explodes. Up next is Delilah. Oh, sorry. Did I skip Agent Dana?
Nope.
Agent Dominique?
Did not.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. I extracted myself from the helicopter last turn.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Delilah.
Yeah, I think I'm on the ground clear of the helicopter.
Yes.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot at the thing that's fucking up Diver's Day.
Okay, excellent. Go around to the front fire. Look at that. Another bullseye. Wow. Roll damage, please. You're killing it. Literally.
It's gonna come due. I'm gonna fail everything in the next round. 8
8
damage.
damage. So the one that Donovan's been plugging away at is just not stopping, and then you come around and you blow the rest of the top of its head off, just and the thing just kind of dissipates into thin air, into little black snowflakes, and you see he's like, "Shit, okay," and he just runs out of the aircraft. He yells over his shoulder at you, Diver, "Go now!" Shit. Agent Dominique.
All right.
Being lifted up into the sky. Maybe a couple feet off the floor right now. But if this continues, they're going to take you up and they're going to start tickling you pretty soon. What are you going to do?
I'm going to lean back and smile and be like, "Sorry, I have no ticket for this flight," and then I'm going to shoot it.
Perfect. Go for it. You get a bonus because you're right there. And you're just like, fuck you, bang, 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 roll damage.
Oh, thank Lord. Oh my God.
8 damage, that's good. That's good enough to release its grip. Yep, 48 blows the roll. So you see it's like, it's holding on to you and you're just like, fuck this flight. And you just put it right up against its leg and you fire and it just kind of like blows up and you feel like for a second like you have blood splattered, like this black ichor like splatter onto your face, and then the thing just dissipates and you feel like your whole face is just kind of like numb. You fall a few feet, not too bad. Just give me a shit, you move pretty quick. Give me a quick athletics check, please. Didn't make its flight roll. You got it. So this thing drops you, and it like, you think like, oh crap, I really fucked that one up, and then you just kind of like tuck yourself, you kind of like curl up into a ball, and you kind of hit the ground hard, but you roll and you check yourself, and you don't manage to break anything, thankfully. At least you don't feel it right now with the adrenaline. 1 point of damage. Okay, now the last they're getting dispersed. You see something happens. Harriet starts doing something weird off to the side. You see she starts like tracing fingers in the air, and all of a sudden there are lights that appear, and this symbol that most of you are familiar with. It looks like she's tracing a star in the night air, with a similar sort of eye, and in the center of that eye is a glowing flame. When she says these words and she moves her hands, the symbol becomes almost a permanent fixture there for a moment. And these things that are around her immediately start smoking like they're on fire. They all lose 4 hit points as they all start like backing away from Harriet and the rest of you. She's like, get close to me, quick!
I mean, if she's nowhere near the helicopter, then hell yeah.
Oh yeah, she's long gone. Let's see now. Donovan moves his ass and puts a shot into one of the remaining night gaunts. Just empties his clip into it. It's like, I'm out. And slamming in another magazine into his sidearm. And now, as they're running, it is Diver's turn. You have 2 more rounds before this thing explodes. What are you doing?
Oh boy. Is Donovan still wrapped up in a thing?
No, Donovan was never wrapped up in a thing. He immediately got out of his harness, ran to the cockpit, and fired at those things at the window. And that's why when you crash landed, sort of, he banged himself kind of hard into the glass, and now he's got a little bit of blood running from his forehead. Other than that, he's fine.
For some reason, I thought someone was wrapped up with one of the thing's tails. Oh, that was Dominique. Oh,
no, that was Dominique, and she got
was Dominique. Okay. I handled
was. Well, then I will GTFO.
Excellent. Move the hell out of there. With time to spare, as you crowd up behind Harriet as she's just kind of intoning these ancient words, and these symbols appear around her. The night gaunts, as they are, they don't shriek, they don't make any noise, which is almost more disconcerting, and they just sort of like see what's happening. Their skin immediately starts peeling off, like they're being burned alive, and they just immediately dart up and away and into the night sky, disappear completely beyond your view. You see, she's just kind of like, after these things disperse and move away from you, there's an explosion in the background. The helicopter is completely engulfed in flames. There's a popping sound as the metal is just sort of like bends and crumbles. Looking much more harried than before, Agent Donovan like combs his hair a little bit, like, and then looks at Harry and it's like, "What the fuck is that?" Pointing to like the symbol that just sort of hovers around in front of her, and then immediately she closes her hands like this and it dissipates. How do you all respond?
No, seriously,
know.
what the fuck was that?
I think I know what dropped Stella.
I think your instincts are correct, Agent Diver. Dominique puts safety back on her service pistol and fucking ducks it.
You see Agent Donovan just sort of like, "Who the fuck is calling me? There's no signal out here," he says, and he holds like that cell phone that you thought was with Agent Lazarus. And he's just like, he looks around to the rest of you like, "Should I even answer this phone? Like, what the fuck is calling?" There's no name on the caller ID. There's nothing.
Indulge us, Agent Donovan. Let's see who wants to have a chat.
What the fuck is this? He flips open the phone, hits the speaker, and this voice, this like muffled, almost modulated voice speaks out on the old cell phone. "She watches, and only in dreams you can glimpse her. She watches." And then the line goes dead. Donovan's like, "Okay, what in the fuck is happening right now? What the fuck was that? I mean it. What the hell was that?" And you see Harriet's like, "Those were it's things, those winged things, those demons. I don't know what they're called. I don't know what they are. They work for her though."
Alright, so demon works. Happy to postulate demons. Who the fuck is she?
Lydia Yeats. I'll write that down, the name here.
Okay. Tell us who Lydia Yeats is.
And you see Donovan's like, "Yeah, I kind of want to know because this is getting really fucking crazy, really fucking fast. What the hell just happened? It was daytime a minute ago." And you see Harry's like, the thing that the Garrison 6 referred to as the Great Mother has control over time. When you've been marked by her, she can do things like that. You mean to tell me that we're now... And he looks at his watch, and it's like It still says like it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever it was when you landed on that hillside overlooking Fort Lee to investigate Morehouse's death, and it is now like 8 p.m. We lost a tremendous amount of time. What the fuck? This makes no sense. He seems like he's just kind of like he's like struggling to try to like maintain composure. Harriet's like, this is what she does. This is what she's able to do, and those things work for her. It's like those things are her children, and her name is not the Great Mother. It's Yib. You see, Donovan's like, what the fuck is a Yib? He's like, I'll explain later. Just let's get out of here for right now. She said. She's still holding her side where like he landed, and she's like, this hurts a lot. I don't know. I don't know if something's broken or not. Could you check? And like Donovan comes over and it's like, I think you're fine. No, and there's no soft spots here. I think you're all right. Do you need some help? And he's just like, yeah, please, if you don't mind it. She's like limping, so he throws her arms around her shoulder and starts helping her out. How do the rest of you respond to what's going on currently? What do you do?
Well, I think our first priority should be to get to some kind of safety, so we gotta get out of these woods, like, now.
Mm-hmm. Agent Diver, you know from your pre-flight plan that you were maybe about a few miles away from the FBI safe house. You move pretty quick in that helo, so you probably have a little bit of a hike for a couple of miles if you manage to get your direction sense, and you can probably get to the safe house without any major issue.
How can I figure out navigate?
Yeah, you got navigate, and you'll get a bonus probably because you probably have the appropriate tools with you.
How do I add a bonus? Or do I not bother and just you?
I would tell you typically. It's like, yeah, if it's something that's easy or trivial and you're not under duress, you get like a plus 20 or plus 40%. Oh my god.
Can I push the roll?
No, sorry. So you're trying to find your way through the safe house, and you're very clear after about an hour or so. It's getting cold out here, and you start realizing like, oh shit, we're lost. You end up like circling back to the way you came. You crash landed in the middle of this wooded area out here, so it's like, oh shit. And you're like the woody areas and the rural parts of Jersey just after you jump the Hudson. You can try to get back on course if any one of you has navigate, or if you just want to try to like grab a signal and call for help. Like, hey, we're stuck in the woods.
After like Dominique had some faith in Diver, given all the amazing piloting. The faith has been lost.
So when it comes to navigating,
it's just that Diver is not in his element. He doesn't know how to navigate from the ground.
Yeah, clearly, yes. So yeah, I'm gonna call one of my bonds and risk a bond for some assistance.
Okay. Interesting. Let's see here. You've got bonds. Let's see. Go ahead and roll a d4 and reduce your bond by that much to get you out of this situation. Ouch. Okay, who are you calling on this time?
I will. It will be Kronos, since I just spoke with him recently.
What is this? I thought you want me to pick up you and your FBI buddies?
We're not feds, as I told you before.
Whatever. You're handlers. This isn't the Uber service, Like, okay, where are you, and like how many people am I needing to pick up here?
Trace the signal. I know you can.
Yeah, that's not the problem. Okay. So you're shit deep into the wooded area out there. What are you doing in Jersey? Okay, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna go find somebody who can. Yeah. Go straight. No, all right. You don't know how to fucking. Never mind. He says, Are you getting? If you're getting enough signal, you may want to pull up a compass. Maybe go north about 30 minutes. I'll have a car waiting for you there. Well, more like a truck, but yeah, I'll have you a ride there within the hour. It's a truck stop.
Excellent. Thank you. You're a treasure and a delight.
So yeah, sure, whatever. Click. You go hoofing it through the woods. Eventually, you get to you see the light coming from atop the trees from a distance. Once you actually make a clearing, and you see you're getting closer to civilization. You see lights from a big gas station, truck stop. When you finally emerge from the woods, you're just you got little cuts from the branches and stuff. You're sweating. It's and at the same time it's very cold. It's getting close to autumn time. You got that wet, clammy skin going on right now. You could definitely use a bath after this. And as soon as you emerge into the gas station, there's a series of big trailers and trucks that are sitting there gassing up and staying over. You realize it's a lot later than you expected. It's not 8 o'clock at night. It's midnight, just past midnight. So when you wait around, eventually you see this. You're kind of huddled up on one side of the truck stop. Did you make an attempt to try to get some drinks or use the restroom or something like that, or you just kind of keep quiet?
Probably good to hydrate after that.
Yeah, you go into the store.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I'd say Dominique will lean into Agent Diver real quick and be like, I don't like calling in favors, so maybe get your sense of direction locked down in the future. That'd be very helpful.
Oh, right. And next time I'll let you fly the helicopter. How's that sound?
While they bicker, Delilah is going to pick up a couple road maps and a pack of pens and highlighters. And if they have even just a cheapy little compass, she'll get that too.
Yeah, okay. That's a good idea. Not a huge expenditure or anything like that. I'm not going to make you roll or whatever, but yeah, you come out, you get some supplies. You're waiting around for the better part of an hour in the parking lot. It's already 1 a.m. by the time the truck rolls around. Donovan is just we should probably wait until we get her to the safe house before we start asking her questions. He says of Harriet, who's kind of now sort of sitting on a curb and lighting up a cigarette while the rest of you are gathering supplies from the convenience store.
I will give the navigation supplies to Diver.
Excellent.
You haven't lost faith in me.
No, I just imagine these are tools that will help you do what you need to do.
It is appreciated.
You see Harriet's hands are shaking as she takes a drag from her cigarette, and eventually the truck rolls around, honk, honk, and this window rolls down. You Dominique? He says, looking over at you.
Indeed, I am.
You and your friends go in the back, he says. And you hear a clack, 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 and eventually he opens up the back doors of this big trailer. He puts down a ramp, and there's just pallets of goods sitting on wooden pallets really, and if they're this guy's pulling all-nighters trucking stuff to different stores and whatnot. So he's oh, all right, strap in, I'm heading into town soon. We're gonna be going back around and then eventually to Garrison. You heading that way?
I don't know where Garrison is.
The Pork Chop Express here stops at Trenton.
It's the Garrison 6. It's the place where they...
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Is the Pork Chop Express the name of the truck?
Big Trouble in Little China is one of my favorite movies, so I had to pull that out.
Okay. No, I just want to make sure what goes in the notes.
The Pork Chop Express, exactly. It's I'm gonna stop by one of Large Marge's donut barns down the ways. One to share if you want one.
That sounds
no.
Absolutely delightful, however.
It's yeah, make it a double, please. I'll give you $10 if you throw in the coffee. That's a deal. You got a deal, lady. Gets in. He starts. You hold on to. You sit down in like these cramped confines in the back of this truck. It's hot as hell. Eventually, he gets to the bakery, to the large Marges. He brings around some coffee and donuts and stuff, and he's on the road again. Donovan sits shotgun in the front and gives him directions to drop you off nearby, a couple of blocks away from the safe house. You get out and walk the rest of the way there. Harriet is looking a little bit better now. A couple hours in, she's not limping so much anymore, although she's wincing a little bit with on her side. So she sits down gently. The safe house is a very nondescript looking middle class sort of house, one story, very trim, polished lawn. This is the kind of place that they put people when it's witness protection. So he comes in and he checks under the right places, fishes out a key. Donovan opens up the door, in you go. It's already pre-furnished, furnished house, not too bad. Couple bedrooms. I got maybe like 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Pretty modest sized house. Backyard, all the accommodations, and a landline. Shuts the door, locks it, and he's like, "Fuck me, that was insane." All right, who wants to do the honors? He says, gesturing to Harriet, like now would be the time to ask her questions, unless you want to wait until the morning.
I only want to wait long enough to use the landline to call Lazarus and let him know where we are.
Oh, okay. You call him and he's like, "Where the hell have you all been? Holy shit, I've been trying to call your phone all day long. It just went straight to voicemail. Where the fuck did you all go? You went hiking in the mountains or something?"
Oh, funny you should say that.
Fell through a wormhole, I think. It was 3 o'clock and then it was 8 and now it's now.
Groovy. So you did mushrooms. Congratulations.
Well, I'll give you a briefing later. Just we're at the garrison safe house in case anything else blows up tonight.
Oh shit. Okay. Is everybody okay?
Everyone's fine. We're gonna need to requisition a new helicopter.
Oh fuck. FEMA's gonna hate that shit. Well, actually, that wasn't FEMA's helicopter, so you're fine. Actually, that's what I'm thinking of it. He's like, "Yeah, I fucked around with those phones. I got some good stuff, some good info. But I'll tell you all in the morning over breakfast. Just shoot me your details, and I'll come scoop you up in the morning, assuming you haven't arrived." You give him Donovan is just like.
I give him an address a block away.
Okay. Interesting. I was like, "All right, I'll be there in the morning. How early? Let's call it 10 o'clock sharp. A little bright and early."
Bright and early, yes.
He's not an early riser. Okay. So he's like, "All right, I'll see you then. Be safe. Watch your backs." Hangs up. You see Harriet still nursing the coffee from the large Marges. It's gone cold by now, but she still needs the caffeine. She sits at a dining room table and she turns on the lights. She puts her knapsack down and she starts laying out all this stuff that she has with her as part of her investigative work. She lays out what seems to be a map of Garrison. And in addition to those, she brings out photos of each of the Garrison 6. As she's doing so, as she's setting this whole thing up on the table, she starts telling you about her experience with the Watcher. She grew up poor on the streets of Cheyenne, Salt Lake City, Reno, and many others like them. We came from different states and traveled together in numbers for safety. We were all sisters, mothers, daughters. We never belonged where we lived. Abandoned by everyone but ourselves, we hopped on buses, stowed away on trains, and rode the highways of America like modern-day nomads. And then we met Lydia Yeats. She saw our pain and our fractured hearts and presented this false hope in the form of Mother Gaia. Her embrace it was said by our sisters, was warm and relieved you of all of your pain. I spoke with them and they all retold the same experience. Gaia was real and her touch was transformative. We all genuinely waited with anticipation for her embrace. Something felt off about Lydia and Gaia. I noticed it. I felt it when some of our sisters started disappearing. When I asked, Lydia said they had joined Mother beyond the glade, in the realm of dreams. Naturally curious, I started looking around. Looking past the tattoos we all got and the supernatural level experiences we all shared when we became bonded to one another through the dreams, I looked into Lydia's personal things. That's what I found changed everything. There were entries in a journal of a man by the name of Walter Corbett. He knew Mother as the Watcher initially. Her real name, though, was Yib. And she wasn't hungry for love, she was hungry for souls. Her embrace, such as it was, meant death. Lydia wanted what Yib could offer her in the way of power and immortality, just like she had to Corbett. I tried to destroy the journals. It turns out they can't be burned or tarnished in any way. Nothing made sense anymore. I got as many of us out as I could. Some didn't want to come and stayed instead. I don't know what happened to them. Eventually the feds got involved and raided the compound. There was never any mention of the others. It was like they had covered the whole thing up with some fictitious nonsense. After that, I couldn't look back. I stayed in touch with the others, but kept on hunting Lydia wherever she appeared. Turns out she was knee-deep in the politics of the IRA and its old money. Untouchable. I've tried many times to expose her and Yib's cult for years. No one ever listens. Some of the families did, though. They helped me, and I tried to help them back in return. But Lydia's cult is off the grid. You won't find them on the internet. She's very good about keeping the daughters in isolation from spilling her secrets. That's what those winged demon things are used for. Those are Yib's children. Things she stole from some other entity, according to Corbett's journals. And she goes on to explain how the Daughters of Isolation, how they functioned as a group, where they essentially were placed in these isolated locales until they dreamt of this great mother of Yib. When that happened, they became bonded to one another. And those who were adherents to the cult were rewarded with the embrace. The embrace, of course, is what you saw back there with Stella Morehouse and Dahlia Nunez. It's basically the gift that the mother gives you. She embeds it in you, and then at the time of death, or at the time of her choosing, when someone summons it forth, it comes out and consumes everyone around it. For someone like Lydia, who wants to achieve some sort of immortality, it is the perfect way to kill people and take their souls to the Watcher without leaving a single mark on them. Untraceable.
Forgive me for this question, Harry. Have you been touched?
No, thankfully not. I did not receive the embrace, although, she says, she rolls up her sleeves and she has a tattoo on each arm. One is of the elder sign that she made out in that clearing, and the other one is of the sign of the Watcher, the sign of Yib.
I see.
She lays out this map of Garrison to kind of give you an idea of what she's been working on this whole time, at least in terms of the the Garrison Six. She's been trailing behind Lydia Yeats all over the world because there are different enclaves for this cult she happens to manage. But this one in particular was the one that she's focusing on the most. And she notes the three that are the recently deceased. And you're like, wait a minute, Daniela Lovey's not dead yet, is she? Actually, the Daniela is not marked as dead, but later that evening, you see she just, as she's sort of explaining, she kind of stops and just kind of goes like this. And you see what, and you don't know what's, like, she's like experiencing a migraine or something like that. When tears are in her eyes, she kind of just like wipes away a tear, and she's just like, Lovey's gone. She's dead.
How do you know?
It's the bond we all share. The Daughters of Isolation. We all have it. We don't dream about it. We have waking visions about it.
What about Shelley Austin?
Shelley is, as far as I know, she's still alive.
Does the bond let you find each other?
Sometimes. Mostly, though, it happens when they pass. When they die, we all feel it. We all see where it happened. It's very strange to describe.
Is there a way to save the ones who aren't dead yet?
There may be a way. It's like we have to make contact with them first. And I don't have the means to do that. Maybe you do. And you see, so she starts dragging your attention to different points of interest around the map. This is where they all went to school here in Garrison High. That's their main connection. She starts like, conspiracy theory boarding this whole thing with like the red lines and everything like that. Eventually, though, you see that in addition to Yeats having a compound in the more wealthier side of Garrison, a private area, and you see that she says that she also has ties to the local police, like the Garrison Police Department. They're in her pocket, she says. Going to them is not going to help.
as if we bother. As if we bother with a pedestrian police.
Yeah, he's like, don't doubt it. Garrison is completely full of these. And she holds up her arm where the symbol of the Watcher is. Any place where something like this is exhibited is a window to Yib. She can send you the dreams, the nightmares. She can make contact with you in the dreamlands. This is the first time you're hearing anything like this before. Like, dreamlands? What the fuck is that, you know?
Given Delilah's history with the John Cross case, she's open to believing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. She says, like, if you can manage to track these individuals down, we can probably try to save them from any further harm. I don't know who's been killing them off. I'm assuming it's Lydia and her people are after them because they want this. She points to the old journal papers that you have in your possession from Morehouse. It's like she's after those journals. The Garrison Six seemingly made off with them, it looks like. And now she's bumping them off one by one and trying to reclaim them.
Well, that's one way.
What could the...
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. What could the journal pages possibly do for her? They were simply a diary looking...
There were more than that. They contain esoteric knowledge, like what you saw this evening. That ritual, that spell that I learned, it repels them. These things from outside, the demons. It helps to combat those forces, but it only lasts for so long. It can only buy you some time. It's not a way to destroy them completely. It can hurt them, and it can keep them at bay, but...
What?
I'll be honest, my suspicion does not fall on Lydia. If I had to put a criminal's guess, it's on Shelly Austin. Every message is a private conversation, and then only one person turns up dead. It's meetups, and then one person dies. But it's not Shelly.
But why would she kill her own sisters? She was a part of their cult, wasn't she?
That I have no good answer for. I'm just saying, if you're planning a secret meetup and only one person dies, the best person to place suspicion on is the person who's not dead.
She does have a point.
Donovan's like, what can you tell us about Lydia Yeats? What the hell is she exactly? You see Harriet goes into this thing. It's like, are you familiar with the famous infamous Irish poet of the same name?
Reasonably.
She's a direct descendant. And just like him, she was wrapped up in Irish unification politics. She's a pro-authoritarian, very publicly so. And she's an extremist in many ways. She is also very extremely wealthy. She's difficult to touch or to make things stick to her. Believe me, I've tried. She's the head of this circus that she runs, the ringleader. She's the one that needs to go down, along with the rest of them.
Well,
We're gonna try to save these girls, these people's lives. We have to stop what she's trying to achieve, whatever the hell it is.
so what if we used the journal pages we already have to lure her out? If she's that wealthy, she probably knows rare book collectors. We could start a rumor that we have them, which we do, and of course she'll want them, and if we have our trap laid properly, we can catch her.
That's all well and good. Just know that it's extremely dangerous as well. Those things that you saw tonight aren't the only things that she utilizes in her arsenal. She has paid mercenaries, extremist IRA, that work with her hand in hand and work security around her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're armed and they don't give a shit about shooting people. They get too close to the premises or to her when she doesn't want them to. So unless you're willing to pull a lot of muscle with you, be prepared for a fight.
I do like that you use the term mercenaries. That implies they're paid. Yes.
Correct. Although these are people that she pulled with her. Although she's embroiled with the politics of Sinn Féin, she does hold on to a lot of the old diehards from the old days, the more violent extremist portions of the IRA. They're not more than 5 or 6 in number, but they run the show. They control the different gunsels that she has under her control.
What if instead of a legitimate display of these pages, we held a little underground auction where flexing your muscle would anger multiple parties with also wide finance and happy to do violence.
And she looks nervously around the group. She looks nervously like she's not supposed to be hearing this sort of thing. It's like, is this officially off the record? Or like, and you see Donovan's like, no, you're not writing any of this shit down. This is all clandestine, need to know information. And she's like, for who exactly? FEMA? Or the FBI? She says, looking at Donovan. Oh yeah, I looked you up. She says, you don't work for FEMA, do you?
We don't work
for FEMA. He's like,
who the hell are you
people? We don't work for the FBI either.
I'm going to like take out my personal cell phone and then like pull up my FBI's most wanted profile and just casually pass her the phone.
She kind of looks and looks back and looks back and then like hands the phone back to you like, oh shit,
put
what
it-
have I gotten myself into?
Let's put it this way. This Lydia Yeats, she's not the only person like her in the world. She's not the
Yes.
only mad woman running some kind of apocalypse cult.
Agent
Sometimes,
Delilah said it best. Yes.
sometimes the government needs highly skilled people to go after people like Lydia.
Is there some sort of a secret task force?
It's probably the best way to think of us.
He starts writing shit down. That's probably the best place to stop for right now. We go to our break. We shall
So-
return in 10 minutes.
Delilah will say one thing. She's like, you can publish this if you want. None of us will be able to protect you from the consequences.
Oh shit. Very nice. You see Donovan's like, wait, no. Okay. The time is now 12:31. We shall return at 12:41 Eastern Standard Time. And we're back. We were just settling into the FBI safe house as Harriet Varney went over the sordid details of her history with the cult of Yib, and that of its founder, one Lydia Yeats, descendant of the famous Irish poet W.B. Yeats. All right, so she lays out this whole thing for you, and she actually shares like this secret esoteric information with you concerning the spell that she casted back in that glade, in that forest, when the Hilo went down. And she's like, I don't know what to call it. It has many names, but maybe it'll help you like it helped me. She says, and she gives you the information for it. Now, because this is your character's introduction to magic, you can absolutely all learn the spell if you want to, as long as you research it and spend the right amount of time dealing with it. But basically, once you do that, you basically have to meet the requirements to cast such said spells and do that effectively. And yes, you can actually have it as a tattoo as well if you wanted to. Like Harriet has it. It's imbued, and so she had to basically spend permanent power points to basically embed it onto her skin. It doesn't work quite as well as casting the spell does, but it does act as a deterrent without you having to do anything else with it. So yes, and beats having to like make it, or draw it or anything like that. You already have it on your skin. You could just like spend the power points and off you go.
I absolutely want to learn the Elder Sign.
Excellent. Well, you have it as part of your group inventory, so you can share it as you will. Donovan is very reticent of having Harriet publish anything related to this case or any of the activities that you've been participating in so far. So while he kind of winces silently, and as Delilah's like, yeah, you can publish whatever you want, but be ready to deal with the consequences. He's like, after you're done talking with her, he kind of pulls you all aside. It's like, we cannot allow her to publish any of this. Okay, you understand?
She's a journalist.
So it doesn't matter here.
No, it does matter, because if we go there and flash our badges and tell her you can't publish, she's gonna get mad at us and she's gonna publish anyway. If we let her conclude herself that publishing would do more damage than not, that's the way.
To whom?
To the next cult? To the next Lydia, who reads in the New England Vigilant that the government has secret cultist hunters?
You see, he's kind of like torn, because on the one side, and you can see where he's coming from. It's like, if we allow her to publish this stuff, it could potentially damage the future victims of these cults as well. When the New England Vigilant is like, holy shit, there's crazy cults out there, and look what they're doing, and secret, task forces and stuff like that. Like, that's not going to help either. Yeah, is what his kind of point is.
I was trying to make, like, we have to let Harriet come to this conclusion on her own.
Oh.
Otherwise, she's gonna dig her heels in.
I don't know what Kay's character would do in this situation, so I'm just gonna say he's conflicted about it, but he'll heed to your suggestions.
Shockingly, well, maybe not shockingly, but yes, I found that threatening journalists in the past is usually the bad option. It's best to give them what they want, so they don't want to spill the beans.
Fine, we're all gonna be on the news. Fantastic.
We're not.
We should probably get some rest. It's been a hell of an evening or a day, I suppose. Just try to get some rest and wake up tomorrow and maybe meet up with Lazarus. Why did you give him the wrong address? Next to you, Delilah.
OPSEC.
Oh, so we're gonna meet him there. Yes. We're gonna walk over and okay, got it. Smart. All right. So each of you take a room.
Don't trust Lazarus, but if someone's got their eye on this place, it's probably better to meet up somewhere not here.
Okay. Smart move, actually. Do any of you do anything prior to settling in for rest? You see Harriet's like haggard, so she's gonna try to get some rest in one of the rooms. Did any of you do anything prior to going to sleep yourselves, or just gonna hit the hay?
I stay up a couple hours to study the Elder Sign spell and
Very good.
practice tracing it.
Very good. Okay.
I'll start sending out feelers for this illicit auction planning. Well, at least that I suggested, and I'm going to try to start planning.
Okay. This will be easy for you. Make a persuasion check to see if you can guss up some interest with your contacts. Like, hey, I got some weird, like, ancient writings from some old dead guy in New England. It's fucking crazy.
God damn it.
Worth a fortune. Okay. That's close enough, I think. So I'll say that you can manage to negotiate something. How soon do you want it?
I mean, I don't think we're on a quick. I mean, obviously people are dying, but like
Daily.
as far as the writings are concerned,
Mhm.
we're not on a timeline, so I don't think the auction needs to happen swiftly.
Okay, fair enough. You just start pulling out the feelers, start getting interest. Okay. You figure another couple, maybe one or two other rolls in the next week or so. If you get the majority of those rolls successful, then you'll be able to get like a response sooner or get things organized sooner. Unless you want to bleed some of your bonds.
Why do you have to ask me?
Do you want to destroy your relationships and go down that insanity?
I will bleed. I will go on bleeding a Nyx bond to see if she can pick some more of the more lucrative interests, like who also have heavy firepower. Like the point is to deter Lydia from just showing up with like guns blazing and just trying to snatch it.
Okay. Yeah, you can probably do something like it's a public auction in some location in New England, and you can set it up, and that shouldn't be too difficult for them to do to establish something like that. Let's see, Nyx, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
For some reason I envision her as being like someone who's like just stepped out of the Matrix. Like they have like sunshades on all the time, dark trench coat, and the whole 9 yards.
You nailed it. Kind of like sir, you nailed it.
They're good at making people disappear permanently, but they have the expertise where if they need to hide somebody, or put them in the ground, make them go away forever, she can make it happen. She can facilitate that. But yeah, she can probably, she has contacts in the field that she can put out and like, make stuff happen quickly. Okay, so you do that. Agent Diver, is anything that you do before you go to sleep that evening?
He wants to basically make sure the perimeter is safe in some form or another.
Okay, you can do that. Yeah, you walk the area around the safe house, and it's a pretty quiet neighborhood. It's like one of those houses that no one lives there, but like it has like a permanent for sale sign on the front, and like there are people who regularly show up and keep the place immaculate, front and backyard. But there's like nobody here but you all. As you walk the perimeter, you hear dogs barking in the distance, and you inevitably, your eyes keep going up to that moonlit sky, looking for things that aren't there. You swear, you look and you turn and you think you maybe saw something flash before the moonlight, or a shadow flying overhead, and you look up for a second, you blink, and there's nothing. And on like that it goes for the rest of the evening. Everyone roll luck. Everyone roll luck first. And let me know if you succeed.
Oh no.
Lux is a D100, right?
Yep. Yeah. You want to roll 50 or less. It's good. It's not good.
53. Wait, no, I typed it wrong. That 100 is diabetes.
Donovan
That
made
was
it.
me. I
Garrett
rolled
made
the
it.
63.
And I rolled better. I rolled a 78.
Ah!
Okay, both of you make power rolls, please.
Oh no. Nope. Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
Nailed it.
I'm
Oof.
staying alive.
You stay up late, walking the perimeter and studying these ancient writings and spells and rituals, Agent Delilah. So you and Agent Diver stay up way past your bedtime. So eventually you start easing into sleep. So you take a bed in one of the spare rooms and pass out. The rest of the evening seems fairly calm, and Agent Delilah, you feel this breeze hitting your face while you're laying on the bed, and then you realize you're not laying on a bed, you're laying on a bed of grass, and you smell springtime. Things are budding and shedding their skins, and you kind of open your eyes a little bit and you look around and you're no longer in the house, but you're in this large open area, a wooded clearing, very much like the clearing that you landed that helicopter in previously. And far in the distance, in this nighttime air that you see around you, there's a presence. You don't see it, but you feel it. And it calls to you. You get to your feet and you kind of peer into those shadows, and you feel at first this sort of warm feeling that you get, like coming home for the first time in years, or the reassuring hug of a parent. You feel this warmth sort of emanating out of that darkness, almost beckoning you to come forward. And then as soon as you just sort of start wandering in that direction, your feet start carrying you, and suddenly you feel like something's burning at the back of your head, like at the back of your mind. And you see these little things start appearing on your hands and on your skin, like burned etchings, just sort of appearing there. It's that symbol, the sign of the Watcher, and the Elder Sign.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and cast the Elder Sign.
You try to remember as best as you can. You're like, roll power one more time, please.
Okay.
You just roll above a 3, and you succeed.
I rolled a 93.
Well, you try to take control of the dream, and you're just, the more you try to control it, the more it seems that you're just drawn inexorably forward and forward, until inevitably you're standing, before you know it, this shadow falls over you, and you see this fluttering, almost like these enormous flies, or like the shadows of these flies are like hovering over, and when you look up, you realize you're looking up at her. She's looking down at you. And this clawed hand comes out from what seems to be like a cloak, when you realize it's these massive bat-like wings, with hundreds of those demon things attached to her breasts. And you see she reaches down a hand to you for you to take. Come, my child. No longer feel alone. Another power check, please.
Oh.
You see, you reach up the hand like this, and you shrivel away, and you see like this clawed hand, massive hand, like leans down, and its nail just starts scribbling something, clawing something into your forehead. And as it does so, everything starts to shake and shudder a bit, and you're like, ah, and you start like sweating, and you feel like you're having like the worst nightmare. And then you upright in bed, awake, and you feel like this tingling feeling on your forehead, like somebody just scrawled into it with a knife. And like you feel like it's oozing, like it's bleeding. What do you do?
I head straight for the bathroom to look at my forehead.
There's not a mark on it, but for a second, you know how you flip on the lights and your eyes have to adjust for a second? For a moment, you see the triangle there right on your forehead with the eye in the center. Roll sanity, please.
Oh,
Shoo.
there's the 3.
Okay. 1 sanity only. You're just like, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? The rest of you rest peacefully for the most part, except for you, Agent Diver. You have a similar sort of dream where you're kind of in this strange realm, not of this world. It seems ethereal in the way that it's in its makeup, almost like you're in a Conan novel or something like that. It's like vast deserts and like these deep, lush jungles and these strange beasts that run around you and downhill like in herds. Beasts that you've never seen before, and yet somehow you know their names here. This weird knowledge seeps into your mind as you're here. When you look down at yourself, you don't even look like yourself here. You look like a different version of yourself. It's hard to explain. But in this place, you feel like you've lived here almost an eternity. And just now you're starting to return to that life. But just as you start getting drawn into that secluded wooded area in shadow, you start realizing that you are caught up in this dream and this series of nightmares that just seem to sort of lock you in place. You keep seeing the things, the faces, the faceless visages of those things that flew in the air that nearly took you all down, destroyed that helicopter with you on board. You start seeing those things, images of that, and of the burning helicopter, and you manage to wrestle control of this dream, and you push it away, and you wake back up into reality. A little sleepless, but none the worse for wear. How do you react when you wake up in the morning?
What? And he'll just kind of look around, gather his surroundings, feel the bed. He'll get up and just like wash his face to try and get out of this mindscape.
All right, fair enough. You get up and you wash your face, and the smell of coffee wafts into the room where you're at. You realize Agent Donovan's up and early. He's already taken his jog around the block a couple times. So he's already showered and he's ready to go. So he's making breakfast in the kitchen with what you've got. And Harriet is up as well. She's at the table and she's smoking her cigarettes and sipping her coffee. As you each join them in the living room, you see Donovan's like, got a couple hours before we're supposed to meet with Agent Lazarus a few blocks away. And then we're gonna head back to the other safe house, I suppose. Unless we had other specific plans, he says. He's putting on a suit. Yeah.
So, is there any other way that we can track down the possibly surviving other Garrison 6? Garrison 3, I suppose, now.
I suppose that's a possibility. Harriet is like, I don't have their contact information. Their families have tried to contact them in the past and to no avail. They ditched a lot of their personal belongings when they went into isolation in the first place. It's one of the first things they have you do, actually. It's kind of like a shedding of your skin, of your old life, and the embracing of a new life.
Well, we've got some phones.
if we have if they have new contact information, we might be able to use those phones to call them. Whether they're expecting those calls or anybody's guess at this point.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, from what you all have all gathered, it looks like somebody, possibly Shelley, was trying to coordinate and herd them all together in one place, but it wasn't going so well. You sense intuitively from everything that you've looked at so far that there was some distrust among the Garrison 6. Probably well earned, given the circumstances, especially. Is there anything you want to do before you leave the house?
Just make sure we pack everything up. We don't want to leave any, like, weird elder signs behind for the next group to have to deal with.
Sure.
Why
Sure.
ever not?
You could do that at the Gotham Point safe house, but this is an actual FBI safe house. So, like, somebody witness protection one day is going to be like, what the fuck is a yib? Yeah, you don't want to do that. Okay, so you pack up all your stuff, you head out. You walk a couple blocks over, and you see Agent Lazarus just kind of sitting in his van. Or he pulls up eventually. You probably get there before he does. Shows up late. It's like, hey, sorry I'm late. I stopped to get sandwiches, you know? What's up? Was everybody okay? Wow, you look like shit. He says he looks over at Harriet, and he's like, yeah, fuck you too, pal. He gets into the van. He's like, who's this dipshit? And you see Lazarus like, oh, I'm hurt. He's like, boy, I've got a lot of stuff to share with you all. While you were up doing mushrooms and going on hiking trips or whatever, I found out a whole bunch of stuff about Nunez and her personal effects and all that other fun stuff. It's like, check out this these deleted conversations between Dahlia and Mother. This is somebody named Lydia. She starts like showing you like basically a printout of the conversations that they had together. This was taken weeks ago. Dahlia says that she doesn't trust Lydia and her people, and that if they return the pages, they're just as good as dead. And Lydia counters by telling her that everything is forgiven if they bring everything back, and that she cannot trust Shelley. And it's like, now, this is happening, like, we'll say, inside the van. And once he has you inside, there's ample room to kind of sit around and kind of talk. Like, he gets up and he's like leaning on both of the front seats, and he's like, just pointing out all the stuff that he has laid out on this table, just kind of like mounted onto the wall or drilled into the wall. Like, check out what I got over there for that goon that tagged the van. He's referring to the person who drew the sign of the Watcher on the back of your van while you were visiting Nunez. This guy's name is Stanley Morris. He's 20-something, a dropout. Priors are, he was a meth addict. Used to breaking into places, petty theft, basically. Let's see. We don't know who this guy works for. We got nothing on this guy other than he's out and about walking the streets of Manhattan apparently and doing weird graffiti on people's cars. What do you know?
Simon Morris?
But no one bothered to pick him up.
Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna do anything without your say so. Fearless leader. He says, looking over at Donovan. Donovan's like, I gotta head, please.
I did try and chase him down, but he was very fast.
Please, Diver, that was not some shade at you, my friend, at all.
I would like to point out, though, what Lazarus has found on our friend here, that she can't be trusted. You're right on the money with that, Dominique. Good thinking.
Except Shelley's already dead.
She's not.
No, Shelley is not dead, as far as we know.
Stella's dead.
In my head, Shelley is the one helping to perpetrate these murders or the rest of them.
Honestly, I disagree.
Fair.
Lydia is the one who is saying they can't trust Shelley. Shelley might be the only one they can trust.
Yes, and that makes her the perfect weapon to use against them. Lydia would not expose herself directly. No leader of any sort of well, let's call it what it is, a criminal organization, exposes themselves willingly. They have patsies. What better patsy than one you trust?
But then why?
All good points.
But then why would Lydia say you can't trust Shelley?
Trying to garner trust and get the pages back without violence. It did not work, and so violence was perpetrated.
I feel like no matter what she's up to, Shelley is the one we should be looking for next.
Yes, I agree. I do want to lure Lydia out into the public eye, though. What an opportunity.
You see, he looks over at Lazarus, looks over at Donovan. That's for that shitty Samsung you got over there? Yeah, strange shit. No data plan, no registration with any telecom or tower. Incoming calls came in from nowhere, untraceable. Never seen anything like that. Shouldn't be able to get shit for signal, and yet it's still getting signal somehow. Now that weird stuff that was on it, that's just ink from a permanent marker. So there's nothing psychoactive about it. I sent the results to FEMA. FEMA lab came back completely negative. So I don't know what to tell you there, Chief. He looks. Donovan's just like, huh, just silently pensive about it all.
I'm
You
going
see,
to hand the phone to Harriet and ask if she can make anything of it.
which phone? The one that Donovan had?
Yeah, the one that just mysteriously appeared.
This is an old phone. I remember these. He says he flips it open and kind of looks to the directory. He doesn't see anything there. Just like, this has the mark of the Watcher. I can feel it, even though like the symbol has been smudged on the phone. It's like it's still there, and she can feel it. She's like, the whole town of Garrison is like that. If you look in certain places, it's like secret graffiti. Lydia's had her people mark up the place. Anybody who lives in a certain vicinity around those symbols, Gib has a direct line to them.
I see.
Wait.
So we should destroy this then.
Yeah, can she
I
trace
have-
us using that phone?
Sorry, what were you saying?
Can
Rachel?
she trace us using that phone?
Possibly.
I have a
Snap in
question.
half, throw out the window.
Yep. Thank you.
Life's
Thank you.
like, whoa! Clack, clack, clack. What were you saying, Diver?
Does removing the symbol remove the tracking?
No.
We need to leave this vehicle.
Yes.
What?
Good.
You see Larry's like, hey, this is my van. What are you talking about?
Your van's compromised. Enough.
Because some meth head drew a funny picture on it? What the fuck?
Yes, Lazarus, we've seen some shit, all right? Trust us.
But I like this van.
We can get you
Shit.
another one.
Well, when you're referring, of course, to the green box van, the rolling green box
Yes.
on wheels.
Oh, is
his
that not
other
what he's
van,
showing?
his surveillance van is back at Gotham. He brought the green van to pick you all up and be away with you. So it's like, all right, fine.
Thank you.
We'll ditch it at the clearing over there, and I'll take care. I'll take my van.
No,
back to-
no more further conversation about this until we ditch this vehicle. Period. How's the weather?
Nice.
How about that local sports team, everyone?
Oh God, are you talking about the Mets? Please don't talk about the Mets.
I'm a Red Sox fan myself.
Right on. You see, Lazarus say.
Watching paint dry is so exciting. Huzzah.
He's like, but we should probably take what's in the green box with us. Ambrose, if you unless you're driving, he has you because he'll typically drive the van. He'll have you look and take a look at take provisions with you out of the van, so that way you can at least utilize them outside of the green box van. What you have is a large Folgers coffee can with a tight-fitting plastic lid. coffee can is about 3/4 full of some sort of a fine dust. It's like a reddish silver dust. That's what you can see from the clear plastic lid on the top. Would you like to open it, examine the contents?
No, I think I will leave it the fuck alone.
That's probably wise. Okay. The other stuff you see is a photograph of what seem to be these 3 creatures posing with a dead body of a policeman. The style of the uniform worn by the corpse allows it to be identified as belonging to the Boston Police Department, circa, 1920. Do you want to examine it further, or just kind of stow it away with the rest of the mixed bag of stuff?
He's not going to look too deeply into any of this stuff.
Agent Donovan seems to be interested in what you're like rifling through at the back of the van. He's like, what the fuck is... And then he stops as soon as he sees the photograph, and he's like, put that shit away.
I'm working on it. Thank you.
He's like, he looks away. He looks like he's seen a ghost. Let's see. There's also a shoebox. It's filled with something. Do you open it?
Not at all. I am not opening one damn thing on this van.
Ah, shucks. All right. Last and not least, though, is a skull. It does not look like a human skull. It looks like it's like a bleached skull, elongated forehead, weird structure, teeth, no nostrils from what you can tell, or at least it doesn't seem like the sort of human extremity there that would go there. Like whatever this thing is, it's not human, and it looks like almost like a toy or something like that. But then when you look deeper, you realize it's very, very real, although it's very varnished as a result.
What in the bloody hell?
If you have unnatural, you can roll it to see if you can identify what it is, or if you have occult, you can roll out as well, or just leave it the fuck alone. A whole lot of nope in these green boxes.
This is just a skull, though.
Is it? Is it just a fucking skull?
Is it?
These things, oh, by the way, are not just for flavor. They actually do have some mechanical benefit if you want to use them. That is, of course, if you can identify what they are. But just put that in the back of your mind as you can. Lazarus is absolutely going to take the stuff out of the
cult for the skull.
Yes.
Like, is the skull out there? Can I also roll a cult?
Yeah. Yeah, you can roll cult if you want to.
Let's do this. Let's go. Oh shit! I rolled
fumble.
No,
I'm pretty sure somebody bought that at a carnival or some shit, or like some sort of like knick-knack store, a tourist trap, whatever. And you're like, whatever. That's a fucking big piece of shit.
I got trivial and easy success, but
that you don't know
about
what
that.
Yeah. Let's see. You. Oh wait, no, you got a 27 out of 20, not a 55 out of.
Yeah, I rolled twice on accident.
Accidental double click for Cthulhu.
So you both think that it's real, but you're not sure what it is. But this looks disturbingly like some things that you've heard about, like, oh, Bat Boy or whatever. Like, is that shit real? Like, that looks like the kind of skull that would belong to like a fish boy.
Are we seeing, by the way, we're seeing Agent Diver like pull these things out one by one, right?
Oh, of course. It's like, oh, look, it's a shoebox. Nope, not opening it. He's just kind of going through the stuff back there.
I'm gonna take a peek in the shoebox.
Oh, cool. All right, shoebox. Shoebox is neat. So it looks like it's filled to the brim with like these golden brown fortune cookies.
Well,
what do you say?
I'll turn to everyone else and be like, fortune cookies? Hey, we've had a rough night.
You see, Harriet's like this country, it's hollow and full of lies. No, thank you.
Goodness, dear. Like, you haven't scratched the surface of what. Never mind. I'm gonna go ahead and crack one of the fortune cookies.
Sure. Do you read the fortune?
I do.
It says, "Have you seen the yellow sign?" Means nothing.
Well, these are just shit fortune cookies. Apparently, I'll just toss it out like.
You see, Harriet's like, "I fucking warned you."
All right, hold on. Don't toss those out the window, please.
No, just what I opened. Like whatever. Fine. If you really need a snack, Diver, there you go, and just hands the shoebox over.
I don't want any evil fortune cookies, thank you.
It's not evil. It was nonsense.
Flop the lid down and then stash it safely.
Okay, fair enough.
There's literally nothing in here that I trust Dominique.
That being said, unless there's anything else you want to do on the ride over to pick up or just swap out vans to go back to Gotham Point, Lazarus will drive you the rest of the way. Stop for a moment after you get into his surveillance van to break for lunch. Harriet is introspective. She's thinking about stuff. She's making phone calls to her editor and like trying to, obviously give him stuff like, "Hey, I got something, like trying to get that wheel turning, so to speak. What do the rest of you do on the way back to Gotham Point, or do you divert from there and go somewhere else?
Diver actually wants to kind of talk to our journalist friend for a second.
Harriet, sure. She's usually on the phone with a cigarette in her mouth, but eventually, she finishes her call to the editor, and it's like, "Yeah, God damn it! All right, fine. I'll get you copy by the end of the week." Hangs up. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. She says to you, "You're
That's all right.
Diver, right?"
Yeah, Diver.
That was some fancy flying back there. I didn't get to thank you.
That's where the nickname comes from.
Is that right? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you.
Oh, nothing. I was just thinking about what you're going to publish. We're going to be a lot busier when this information gets out.
Sure you are, she says, takes a drag.
Those innocent people reading about all this occult nonsense, diving into it.
That wouldn't be much of a difference from what we normally publish, I suppose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do any of the stories you publish actually cause mass death?
Excuse me?
Oh, well. I was just thinking, if someone decides to research and try and contact the Dark Mother, as it were.
There's none of that information is available publicly. I would be reporting about the deaths of the Garrison Six and their involvement in the cult and this investigation into them to try to shut them down. Well, I wanted to expose them for what they are, and Lydia Yeats for the pro-authoritarian fascist that she is. She has no place in politics or in public life at all. She has way too much money.
Well,
She's dangerous, and the people that she surrounds herself with are similarly dangerous. So as soon as
certainly.
If we can expose her for leading this cult and endangering these people's lives and straight up killing them, then even if it just drags her through the mud, even if she just loses money, anything like that would be a win in this category, and that's what I want.
So your goal, Harriet, then is to destroy Lydia, not necessarily expose everything going on in the world.
Well, of course, I want to expose what's going on with the cult because it's getting people killed, and if we actually manage to legitimately present the information about the cult as something that could be digested by the general public, that could get some law enforcement groups to look into them and shut them down.
Perhaps.
Be very careful about what it is that I publish, of course. I can't talk about night demons filling the sky. Nobody's gonna.
Well,
We can publish that, but that's not gonna get anything moving.
right. However, If someone is as studious and as thorough as you, think of how deep they'll get into the information.
You're saying that publishing it will bring more people to the cult?
It's quite likely. People who want to fit in somewhere. It sounds appealing, doesn't it?
She's like, she seems frustrated. It's like, you just told me to go ahead and.
Oh, well, of course. Go ahead and publish it if you like. I'm just musing on how many jobs I'll get after this.
Both of you roll persuasion because Harriet Varney is a dogged investigative journalist.
Oh, crush it.
What do you
Can I
got?
push that roll?
No, you
actually, I
cannot.
don't want to.
46 out of 71. Oh man. So you planted this god damn it, she rolled a 47, you rolled a 46. You planted this seed of doubt so deep into her that you can actually see on her face. Like, even though she's like stoic in her pursuit of some sort of justice for these victims, you see even after she finishes talking, like, she kind of looks away and you can read the doubt on her face. And you know you've succeeded at the very least in planting that seed. After lunch and conversation with Harriet, where do you have Lazarus ferry you to? Back to Gotham Point? Or do you have a different tact?
Yeah.
I actually.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you. Go you.
I mean, I don't
No,
have
you.
any idea except convene at Gotham Point and brainstorm what to do next. So if you have an idea, by all means.
I was gonna ask, Harriet, can you tell us any way to find Shelley?
I never knew Shelley. I didn't know any of these people originally. I was part of a different sect at the time. This is 20-something years ago.
Do you think that Shelley may already be aware of you, given your interaction with the other folks?
I don't know. Ever since I got into Garrison, though, I've had that same feeling I had decades ago. And I was being watched by her.
I have a number that my assumption is it belongs to Shelley. Maybe a burner phone of Shelley's. How about you give it a call or a text?
You think she'd
if she's aware of you and maybe she already knows the number. Maybe she's expecting you to reach out. Who knows? It costs nothing to try, right? So
yeah, listen, I got to get back to the office. I'll try to give her a call and see if I can meet up with her. If I come across anything or if she answers back, I'll let you know right away. I have your number, so I'll call.
Of course.
You could save some lives, possibly.
That's what I'm trying to do. Thank you. She kind of begrudgingly works up the nerve to say thank you and hails a cab and heads back into the city to go back to work, as it were. She has to go meet her boss and explain what the fuck happened to her for the last 24 hours. She takes off, and Lazarus is just like, "Are we gonna have to?" And makes this notion we're gonna have to deal with that later.
At the moment.
I'm gonna look pointedly at Agent Donovan with a smile on my face,
Donovan just shakes his head. It's like, "No, Lazarus, we're fucking not."
No, Lazarus, but we do need a tail on her.
You want me to watch her? You want me to?
Yes, she needs to be watched. Yes, 24/7.
Okay. All right, I can do that.
I think
Alright,
she
not a
might
problem.
be a future one of us someday.
Yes, I agree. Agent Diver.
I see where you're going there, Diver. Yeah, you're gonna reel in the new recruits, huh? Yeah.
Oh no, not me. I'm just saying. You lose enough of your sanity and you'll be here eventually.
He kind of, yeah, it's probably true. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go and tail her. I'll keep
Fun.
Thank you, Agent.
He does that, and with that, he kind of, well, you don't have a car anymore at Gotham Point because that's the surveillance van essentially. But I mean, it's not impossible for you to like rent a car nearby or whatever. That's not a problem. You can have one delivered to you. Not a big deal. How would you like to proceed now that you're back at Gotham Point? It's in the afternoon. You know, it's not nighttime yet. You have time to pursue different avenues of strategy.
Well, fuck. I need to replace my helicopter. He instantly gets on the phone and starts trying to find a replacement.
Oh, okay. Returning back to the safe house, he leaves. Okay. So you've got some things to plan potentially.
So, Delilah's gonna look at the map of Garrison
Mm-hmm.
because they said something about a chapel. Is there any sort of like abandoned chapel in Garrison?
You do your searching in there, and yeah, there's nothing that matches what they're describing now. In the writings, it mentions a chapel, and some of the other writings you kind of like cross-reference it, and it talks about. I'll give you the actual. Give you a little snippet here in a second. One moment. There you go. Go ahead and read that one. This is basically one of the entries that you see that was on Stella Moorhead's. Actually, this is one that was provided by Harriet, that belonged with that came with the Elder Sign spell and all this other stuff. Here's what you get.
Alright, the Chapel of Contemplation is growing in number. Amongst our new members is Daniel Ellsworth and his son Peter. Daniel is head of the city council. His influence is sure to be invaluable in the future. Also, we have been converting various outcasts and vagrants, willing to perform menial and abhorrent duties. I pray that the Granter of Secrets is pleased. Okay.
From the journals of Walter Corbett. Yeah.
So that chapel is worth investigating. That is... What city was that in? Was that
Arkham.
in Arkham? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Guess we're having a picnic in
Didn't-
Arkham.
Didn't Agent Donovan say he traced some ancestry to Arkham as well? Yes.
Yes. Some people, the Hooper family specifically, he had cited as having connections to this Walter Corbett individual that you've now been made aware of. I'll put this in your file here for safekeeping. This was, the March the 13th, 1847. So that puts it right here. Second. Just format this real quick. Go. There you have it. And that goes along with the information that talks about Amelie Hooper, wife of Benjamin, who was part of the seance to summon the Watcher in their midst.
All right, so I guess let's make our way to Arkham.
Okay, so that is your plan, is to start heading out that way. It's probably going to take a little bit of time to travel out that way. If you go by air, it probably takes a couple of hours, and so, or if you want to go by train, or if you want to go by car, just depends. As far as your plan to put together this auction, You get some hits back from Nyx, like, hey, I have some interested buyers in that arena, so to speak.
Yeah.
If you want to put something together, let me know what the details are, where this auction is supposed to take place, and what the starting bids and all that other stuff, and what are the articles that are being auctioned off, because that's obviously going to be the draw, right?
Right. If I have a creative license here, I'll offer some stuff in my personal collection that I've gathered through my history,
Oh,
and then
okay.
but also the actual documents that are in question that we know Lydia wants.
The Corbett journals. Do you label it as such? Like very obviously,
Very,
like
very
Walter Corbett's,
specifically, very specifically. And I'll be like, let's plan it for a week from now in Arkham.
A week, all right, and a week, and like they give you, you go back and forth with Nyx, getting information about like an actual government auction house building where like this sort of stuff takes place, and it's like, oh yeah, this was old stuff recovered from the Corbett estate, of course, yeah. We can put they push the right buttons to get things to move in the particular direction, and so in about a week's time, you'll have this very public auction for stuff belonging to the Corbett estate, which includes these journals. About 3 or 4 pages worth of material. Very pricey. They're going to go for like thousands of dollars or whatever, however you want to price it at.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, all right, we'll get your name, we'll get you invitations sent in the mail. How many do you want to bring with you?
In my personal party, let's plan for at least 4.
Okay. All right. Do you let Lazarus know that you're going to Arkham?
I do, and so reading this journal has also reminded me of the lawsuit thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask him to delve into the Massachusetts records and find any lawsuits, let's say from between 1851 to 1853.
Yeah. It's like, on it, boss. That's probably going to take him the better part of a day to do that sort of research, since it's not really his forte, but he'll look into it. So by the time you probably land in Arkham by way of Boston or whatever, then yeah, he'll have some information for you ready then. Do you rent a car to go there, or do you just like hop an Uber to the airport and fly?
I mean, it's a good thing Lazarus is a dork because he just got raided by Dork Tales.
Oh,
hey! Welcome to the madness.
I am more comfortable renting a car because I don't want night gaunts to pounce on us in the middle of the air again.
Your flying experiences are tarnished from that one event. You are forever going to be looking out the side of your window from now on, Agent Diver, and especially when you're flying at night. So you're just going to drive all the way through? It's probably going to take you the better part of like 12 hours, maybe, if you hoof it. I don't know. I'm not great with geography, but we're talking about from Manhattan to Arkham, Massachusetts. I can imagine it's going to take the majority of the day. We're just going to say, like, driving there and doing that, traffic jams and whatnot.
Oh, come on, Delilah. I can fly.
You're having to summon a rental car to the premises at Gotham Point, however, which means you're going to have to wait outside for a while or wait inside, however you want to do it. All of you roll alertness, please.
Oh, goodness.
Love to do that. Oh, thank God.
Oh, I'm seeing some good alertness rolls here. Holy shit. Okay.
Except for poor Delilah.
Okay. Those of you who made it, after Lazarus leaves and everything, and you're left to your own devices. You set up for a car to come pick you all up, take you in, and get sign the paperwork, get you a nice car that you can all fit inside of, and take off to Massachusetts. But in the meantime, while you're waiting, you do feel like you're being watched, and not in the way that you were being watched before, when you were marked by the Watcher. In this particular case, you feel like the vast emptiness of this luxury apartment building is a little strange and off-putting. And these feelings are confirmed when you're sort of just waiting there and you're looking around. Those of you who made it, you look back or you look up onto the balconies that are seemingly constantly vacated, no one around. And you see a couple people just kind of milling about on the balcony, either smoking or pretending to talk on a phone while they're looking at you, observing you. How do you react?
Don't look now, but I feel like everyone around us is watching.
Yes. I've got the same vibe myself, Agent Diver.
I don't understand. Do they all work for the Watcher?
You see Donovan turns around, it's like, I don't think so. I think I've seen that guy when I came back one time, my morning jog. And he looks up at one of the balconies. There's an older guy, maybe like shoulder length white hair. He's got like a tank top on, some jeans. He looks like retired Wolverine or something. And he's just kind of leaning on the balcony, smoking a cigarette. And he's kind of like glancing in your direction occasionally. As soon as you make him, he just puts out a cigarette, walks away, walks inside, disappears.
I'm gonna do a little. Maybe not the best idea. I'm gonna like lean into like a car and then discharge my service pistol to see who runs.
Oh, you like straight up like do that?
No. It's like I just lean and then down the side, like boom, just one shot into the ground.
Oh fuck!
I want to see who runs.
What in the bloody hell are you thinking?
There's
Watch
apprehension
to see
on.
who doesn't run.
There's apprehension at first with one of the ones on the balcony. They look like they're dressed in all black, turtleneck, very serious looking. Can't make out the face because they're too far away. It's just blurry. There's like initially like they almost like have a jump scare for a second, and they drop whatever it is that they're holding, and then they just kind of stand and stare, and then they walk back inside, out of sight.
I want to just for my own I want to transpose their descriptions, every last one of them that I saw on my own phone in the moment before memory starts to conflate and
Okay.
Yeah.
One of them you saw was it's kind of short, dark hair, Caucasian, had like all dark clothes on, like maybe with a turtleneck. Couldn't see too much else, and they were just kind of pretending to go on their phone like this, and they observe you from a distance. One of the high up apartments. The other one was, like I said, retired Wolverine with a cigarette, and he fucked off. Those are the main two ones. Let me look at your rolls though, because there's somebody else here. Fuck. Okay, Diver pretty much made the third one. None of you else were that skilled though. You do notice somebody else, Agent Diver, on the ground this time, not on the above balconies. And they happen to be watching you from the street inside of a car. Sunshades, suit. Female.
Look, there's a stakeout.
You look back, the car's not there anymore, neither is the person. You are being monitored.
Who the fuck is monitoring us?
I don't know. And
Your Uber is here though.
huzzah.
This nice lady comes out like, oh, welcome, like, let me drive you back to the office and we'll fill out the paperwork and we'll have you on the road. 1, 2, 3, lickety
Stealthily
split.
cocking the revolver. I just charged casually.
Well, that happened like way before she pulled up. Otherwise, she would have been like, all right, we're here, bang. Oh shit, let me get the fuck out.
Perfect.
She drives you back to the office and you handle all the paperwork stuff. You pick out a nice mid-sized sedan, I'm guessing, since it's just 4 of you. Pile in and get your things. Put the green box stuff in the trunk, and off you go, off to Massachusetts. The better time of the day is spent on the road, but eventually you get to, when you want to stay at a hotel, like off the road, or like a nice fancy place, or what is your idea here? Keeping up appearances for the auction? Are you going to go with like a high-priced hotel or something?
I think, all right, so given I'm like the one that's decided to organize this, like we should probably get a hype up, like a proper like 4 Seasons rooms. Like
Sure. Who's paying?
I'm happy to flex some bonds for this.
Ooh, okay. Yes, okay. So yeah, you can go ahead. Let me see.
I'm gonna use Nyx this time.
Oh, okay.
Since
Hey, can you put me up for a couple nights for the rest of the week? Me and my buddies. Let's see. Spending money. All right. So if you pay a standard expense, it's intelligence times 5 or accounting, whichever is best. If you have a wealthy occupation, you take a 20% bonus. If you fail it, it's not a big deal. You can still make the purchase, but you reduce 1 non-Delta Green bond by 1 from the stress of this spending, excessive spending that you're doing.
Right.
If for an unusual expense, it reduces 1 by default by 1. Yeah, and your agent, and if you're wealthy occupation, you can just make an intelligence times 5 or accounting test.
Okay.
To avoid the bond damage.
I'm gonna assume that I can use intelligence times 5 then. Given my occupation.
Fair enough. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're good. 4 Seasons, you're in. So they put you up for the better part of a week. You have a nice, suite to yourselves individually. So there's 4 rooms, probably on the same floor, adjacent to one another or down the hall from one another. Room service is available. There's a nice open bar downstairs with a walk-in piano and the whole 9 yards. By the time you get there and get settled in, it's probably getting towards nighttime. What would you like to do your first night in Massachusetts? Or Markham, rather, in this case.
I'd like to go out on the town, mingle a little bit.
Sure, just relax a little bit, unwind, and then get to business in the morning. What about you, Agent Diver?
That's an excellent question.
So, Delilah is gonna go on her phone and look for some sort of like walking tour app, historical society app, and just like, what are the cool historical protected houses, buildings in Arkham, and she's gonna start checking them out.
Okay, sure.
And Diver can certainly come with her if he wants.
All right.
Yeah, I was actually, funny enough, looking for library use in this sheet, but I think that just counts as search.
Yeah, researching. Let me see.
History.
That was a good question.
I mean,
History. I guess it would depend on what kind of research you're doing.
I'd also imagine most of the libraries would be closed at this time of night.
Oh yeah, it is night, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting dark by the time you arrive and get settled, so you probably do quite a bit of like Donovan goes for like a night jog, comes back sweaty, takes a shower, that's how you do. You go out in the town, Agent Dominique, you hit up some of the pubs and bars. This is in an old town, New England, so it's like cobblestone streets and stuff like that, and like houses and stuff like are very nestled closely together and stuff. You know how it is. Big hills, sun drops. Yeah. You visit some of the pubs and bars out this way, and they're a raucous bunch. A couple nice places that are like of Irish descent, or and so on, and like you kind of get that feeling, going in. Like it's kind of like a jovial place to hang out and have a drink, play darts, or billiards, watch a soccer game, whatever. So you have some drinks and you mingle, relax yourself a little bit. Delilah, you and Agent Diver go out into town for a different purpose. You kind of like get the penny tour, and there's like these little, not trolleys, but I want to say like the double-decker buses, almost like kind of like that kind of service. And yeah, they'll trek you around the city a little bit and show you the town.
Feels like home.
Yeah. You see, like, you get an old tour guide guy, and he's like, all right, well, he puts his glasses on. He's like, oh, strap in, kids. We're gonna have a late night excursion. Actually, I'm gonna say that because it's that sort of rusticness about Arkham. It's like a horse-drawn carriage.
Nice.
So you have like so you have the horses, and like you can take pictures for $50, whatever. You get on there, and they truck you around the town, showing you the different sites, and so you kind of have like that back seat, and the driver and his wife are there, and they offer you the opportunity to take pictures or whatever, and they kind of point out some of the places as you go by. Oh, this is the big hospital over here. Down a ways that way is Miskatonic University. You may have heard of it. Big place. There's a library down that way. Big library. There's train stations down a ways that way, and this is Sir Richard's house or whatever. Like they start pointing out like local celebrities to Arkham. Like, oh yeah, this is Agent, Mr. Chambers' home over here. They start pointing, like just kind of leading you around. One thing you notice though, as they're driving through town on these horses, and they come by one particular place, it looks like a dilapidated ruin with lots of weird graffiti drawn on it. Go roll alertness, please.
Oh goodness. Okay. One thing I also want to do is like engage them in conversation, and just be like, "Oh yeah, I grew up reading New England ghost stories as a kid. They were so cool."
Oh yes, we're quite amateur ghost hunters, if you mind.
Succeeded on this one.
Oh well, you see, the guy says,
"Green all the way down."
Very good. Yeah, if you, the old guy's like, yeah, well, if ghost hunting's your thing, Arkham's definitely the town to come for. There's lots of presumably haunted places around here, and lots of weird happenings that took place many, many years ago, and still happen to this day, depending on who you talk to. And they kind of give you like different locations, hotspots around Arkham. I'll have those ready next week. In the meantime, though, you do see something. Roll luck, each of you.
$79.
Fuck. 93.
Nope. Okay, no, that's fine. Everything's cool. You do notice, though, as you're trotting by this ruin, the sign of the Watcher on on a slab of concrete that seems to have been just like crushed. It looks like the building was demolished, and there's just weeds and shit like growing all over everything. And it's literally like right on a corner, like where you would have like a gas station or something like that. Like it's just gone.
Yeah, I'll comment something like, "Oh, with land prices being what they are now, it's weird that they would let this lie fallow."
Oh, this? Oh, yeah, no, that I forget who owns that. Was that the Hoopers that own that, or was that somebody else? I forget. You see the wife is like, "Oh yeah, it's one of those old rich families here from town. They own all of that. They never renovated it. They just kept it there. It used to be a church."
Really?
Was it a church?
Is
it was
that
a chapel. It was a chapel. I think people got married there.
Is that a gang sign? And he points to the symbol of the water. Is that a gang sign, or is that some sort of occult nonsense?
Sorry, I missed it. I didn't see it. My apologies. It probably is. You know how these raucous kids are after they lose a soccer game. They turn the streets into utter chaos.
I'm gonna text Dominique and Donovan. Found the chapel.
Bing! First night in. Oh boy.
Did I roll something to read that guy to see if he was lying about not seeing it?
Human intelligence. Do you have it?
I've got a 10 in it.
You can roll it. I get lucky. Delilah is the master here of the human intelligence. You can roll that.
Oh.
Fuck. Look at you with an 8.
At least I get to check the little blue box.
No, yeah. Don't forget to check off the skills you failed, by the way.
Tick the ticky box.
Increase those, yeah. But you made it, Agent Diver. They're telling the truth. They don't know anything about that. They're not trying to let on anything, or they're not obscuring anything from you. Once the ride is over, you owe them like $50 or whatever the hell it is. But what do you do after that? Do you go check it out, or do you go back to your apartment after you text Agent Dominique?
Oh, what do you think, Delilah? Would you like to go on a date to the chapel?
Let's.
All right. Hand in hand, you head over to the chapel. And it's when you're coming upon it that you start getting this like feeling inside of you. Not that you're being watched or observed or anything like that, but like you're heading into the lion's den. You get this like trepidatious feeling deep inside of you as you're nearing it. And then you're just upon it. You see like it's just a ruin, and there's like moss and weeds as tall as you are in this place. And you feel like you're not just trespassing into a place that is some private property, but you're trespassing into an otherworldly place. Stop right there. We'll go back to you in a second here, Agent Dominique. You're frequenting the clubs and bars out here. Is there anything specific that you want to do while you're out? Like, oh, I want to check this place out, or I want to go, hit up so-and-so, whatever.
Mostly what I want to do is like get a general vibe of the town and like, who has some like local knowledge that would be useful to me.
That depends on what you're looking for.
I mean, given that I'm hosting a semi-illicit auction here in the future, I'm looking for someone who has something to add to my auction.
Oh, you want to try to acquire some other like fancy, expensive stuff to throw into the auction?
Yes.
You probably want to talk to somebody from like the historical society or the museum nearby and see what you can acquire. If there's anything for sale, you're pretty your money clip can afford.
Sounds good.
The place is still open, so you could probably get an inquiry in or something like that, or at least see what they've got. And yeah, they've got a bunch of esoteric looking stuff, like old remnants from like the 1800s, 1700s, dating all the way back to the founding of Arkham. Very carefully preserved by this society. A lot of it is not for sale. You can persuade them otherwise, however. You see the curator's like a tall, skinny guy with glasses, very immaculately dressed, a little bit of a beard going on. Calls himself Mr. Daniels. Go ahead and roll persuasion. Oh, I want to hear this pitch. It's an impossible pitch to buy stuff off of his hands.
Mr. Daniels, I know you don't know me, but I'm an avid collector of immaculate historical artifacts, and I promise you, like, if you were willing to part with a few of these, I could provide an influx of money, a huge influx of money to your curation here, and that would help you acquire more of these lovely things in the future.
That sounds intriguing. How much money are we talking about here?
Well, I cannot promise you numbers. It will again be an auction, but the rarity and exquisiteness of these pieces, they would guarantee they would go for quite a bit of a penny.
Oh, well, we can perhaps discuss this in my office if you like.
Let's go.
Start walking with him. I'm not gonna make you roll alertness. You see this. There's other people here who are examining the different artifacts, the old remnants of Arkham, the old artifacts, and you see one person in particular catches your eye. It's the turtleneck person in all black. And then you see, this place is arranged like almost like an art gallery with the lights coming in from the top, very dim, and then like another set of lights coming up from the bottom. And you catch a glimpse of her shadow. And it's not hers. It's something else.
Perfect. I'm gonna take my phone out and take, not subtly. This is not subtle. I'll just straight up snap a picture.
Like, oh, hi! Click. You do that? Yeah, I mean, how close do you get exactly to take a photo?
Not that, like I just like as I'm passing by, I see it, like boom, just snap, and then just keep walking.
Yeah, you snap a picture of it, and so you have a pretty decent camera. You zoom in on it, and yeah, that it's unmistakably her shadow. But you see, it's not like a trick of the light or anything like that. Her face is elongated out to here, and her form is like hunched over. That person isn't human. That's where I'll stop for now. Come back next week and continue our adventure into conspiracy horror. If you like tonight's program, you may also like some of our other awesome adventures and terrifying tales. Tomorrow, we begin with Road of Uruk at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed Wednesday by Defenders of Tomorrow. Thursday, we've got Starfinder, Junker's Paradise, and Friday, we have Mass of Nyarlathotep continues. And also, they came from Camp Murder Lake, I believe. Saturday, we're doing Pathfinder and Cult Divinity Lost, Nephilim Prophecies at 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. respectively. And then on Sundays, we have Vastation Regenerated at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And come back here to on Monday next week for Crystal Strahd Reimagined at 7, and then this program, of course, at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Players, remind everyone watching who you are, which game they can find you in next, and what else you do outside Vorpal Tales that is awesome. Beginning with Ambrose.
Hey everybody, I've enjoyed playing Ilya, aka Diver, for you this evening, and I've enjoyed showing you Grimalkin. You can find me all over the internet as Am Changeling and on Etsy at Thornkind. You can find me playing again on Friday. And they came from Camp Murder Lake. Before that, I'll be recording some Patreon stuff. So if you want to see that, gotta subscribe.
Aaron.
Hello, I am Aaron once again. You can find me as Grey Tool pretty much everywhere. You can next find me tomorrow, maybe, on my own channel. I'll be playing a game that's gonna make me cry. It's Tear for Tuesdays on my channel. Wednesday, I'll be on my friend Drea LaFay's channel doing a collab. I'm also most likely recording a Patreon game with Ambrose. Yay! And then Friday, I'll be on my channel again playing Final Fantasy VI. And then Saturday, I wouldn't know anything. I was about to say Cult, but Cult's not doing anything on the 21st. Never mind. Yeah. And then Sunday, I'll be on my own channel playing Spiritfarer. That's it for me.
Nice. And Rachel.
Hello, my name is Rachel. I am Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere. I have been Delilah and also your producer. Tomorrow I will be Jinan, the Scion, in our Dark Sun game. And then you will... Let's see, excuse me. I am traveling this weekend, so my schedule is a little up in the air, but I will be recording Call of Cthulhu, Horror on the Orient Express this Thursday. Ambrose will be there, Steve will be there, Ben and Kay will be there. It's a lot of fun. We are going to be playing Dancers in an Evening Fog, the 1893 scenario. Yeah, and that will be available to subscribers of our Patreon at $20 or higher. It's a great story, definitely worth it.
Nice. Awesome. I've been Eric at Modern Recluse Online. You can find me back here tomorrow for Dark Sun. Big thanks as always to our patrons for supporting what we do. If you want to be awesome and do the same, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/vorpaltales and keep up to date on what we're doing throughout the month by checking the updated calendar on vorpaltales.com. Thanks to you, our viewers and fans, for tuning in. And remember, this case is on a need-to-know basis, and you are not cleared for further intel. Stow your encrypted phones, maintain situational awareness, and await further instructions from your handler. Until the next rodeo, see you at the opera. Good night, everybody.